All right, welcome everybody. This is the EFT Business Spotlight, and I'm Craig Wiener.
And I'm Alina Frank.
And we have these wonderful opportunities to share with the world EFT practitioners that are really doing amazing things with fabulous stories. And of course, there's no exception today. We're going to be welcoming Angie Heiman, and she's from the Midwest, from Wisconsin, and has a great story. And I can't wait to ask more about how she's using EFT, who she's using it with to really help transform their lives. So welcome, Angie.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Yeah.
So Angie, we would like to start off by asking your sort of origin story. Like, how did you ever find this thing EFT? And what led you to be so interested that you went on to get certified and start practicing it?
Yeah, it's quite a story. And I love sharing it because it really is profound. And so born and raised in Wisconsin, I found myself about a dozen years ago moving to Texas on a whim. And that whim led to a corporate job as a corporate wellness, a corporate wellness director.
Mm-hmm.
And that experience led to a promotion as that took me to Atlanta, Georgia. And during my time in Atlanta, Georgia, my father had passed away unexpectedly.
Mm.
He was on his way down to Georgia to spend a month with me, and unexpectedly had either a massive stroke or a massive heart attack. We don't know what happened, but so I stayed in Georgia for another year, and I was completely numbed out. I was second in command running a company. And so I didn't have time to heal or grieve or to go through that process that we really need to do.
Yeah.
And it was on a Saturday morning coffee call with my two sisters back in Wisconsin. And my oldest sister said, you know what, why don't you come home just for the summer to do some healing? And at the time, as much as I wanted to, I'm like, that resonated so deeply. I thought, well, who's going to run this company? Like, where's that going to go? But suddenly I realized life was put in perspective. And that call was such a pivotal point for the rest of this story that it's just beautiful. So what happened is I found myself about another 3 or 4 months later, gave my corporate notice, packed up my belongings from the new house that I just purchased, rented it out, and decided I was going to spend the summer in Wisconsin and just heal. I didn't know what that looked like, though.
Yeah.
All I knew is my soul needed it. And I came back to the family farm, spent about the next 2 months sleeping because my body was so exhausted. And the 3rd month I woke up and I just said, you know what, I'm ready. I'm ready to heal. And it was almost like this divine intervention. And I found myself going through my old bedroom in the house that I grew up in. And this is kind of like always a storage place, because I moved several places through the years, and this was always home-based. So I had a box of books and I was just drawn to it. So I opened up this box of books and I found this book called EFT Manual.
Wow.
And yeah, I knew it was divine. I knew at that moment, I'm like, this is the tool. This is the process that I'm being led to. And I had been introduced to EFT, probably like another dozen years prior to that. And I'd done it for a summer, and whatever I needed it for worked, but I kind of forgot about it.
Yeah.
And so I knew what it was. And when I saw the book, I was like, okay, here we go.
Yeah.
And so for the next, for the next several hours, I sat there and I journaled and did the basic recipe that the manual laid out.
Wow.
And I did so much healing from getting the first phone call that my dad had passed away, the first phone call that he was in an accident, to the second phone call that he passed away, to the 13-hour drive home. And so I went from this numb state on a Saturday morning, discovering this book, going through the process and really digging in. And I came out on the other side a completely changed new person.
Wow.
It's almost like I could breathe again. Like going through the process, I actually could cry, which I hadn't done. It was just difficult. I was just so out of it and just going through the motions that I had no clue how deep I was until I realized what feelings felt like again. And what a smile felt like, and being able to breathe deeply. It was truly transformational. And from that moment, guys, I said to myself, the world needs to know about this. Lo and behold, one of my sisters said, hey, why don't you become an EFT practitioner? I said, there's people that do this. No clue. I was head down. I was on my journey to heal. And that's all I knew in the moment. And so from there, I looked at certification. And at the time, it was pre-pandemic. So the only place, and I actually didn't even see that you guys were offering anything. And so at that time, I think it was Australia and Europe were the only two places that were popping up on my radar. So the pandemic happened and it opened up this world of online training and learning. And from there, I just head down. I was on a mission.
That's great.
And
so what's great about, and I read this on your website, that you have also experience in network marketing. And I've been telling Craig for years, I really wish there was someone out there that has been in that world that can help
those people in network marketing.
Yeah, so I am so glad that that's
so
part of your journey, is that you are familiar with network marketing. And so I want to ask you, like, what are the common blocks and struggles that you see with entrepreneurs and people in network marketing that you assist them through? Like, what are the common themes there with what?
Great question. It can be they're overwhelmed. They just don't know where to start. It can be they're overwhelmed because they've had success and they just can't get back in that groove again. And so working through some of those overwhelmed, those events that created that, and oftentimes when we can pinpoint right away, well, what happened? Like, what changed?
Right.
And it's going to those events, addressing the emotion tied to those events. And oftentimes it goes back even further and they experience even greater success because now they're able to take off so many more layers to their story and their healing that they never even knew was limiting them, from before.
Yeah. That's great.
I mean, is it about primarily abundance and more sales, or like, I'm just curious how that works on an even larger dimension for the, I mean, I've done some, not a lot of multi-level, but, there's like perceptions about there's so many different nuances that can affect somebody's beliefs about themselves, about how they are with people in the world. And so I would love to hear just a little bit about kind of the greater healing beyond, in addition to
just making more sales. Yeah, because we know that's just maybe the surface.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, and that's exactly right. There's so many times where we have no idea that we stopped making phone calls because we were afraid to put ourselves out there.
Right.
Or, something that happened in our childhood from a bully that made us kind of want to sink back into our bodies and not be exposed or not be seen, not be heard. So many different layers, and you're right, Craig, there's so many different nuances out there, but what I've seen across the board really is afraid to step out, afraid to start something new, they see the dream, they know they want it. You know, they're sold the dream of financial freedom, time freedom, and they see so many people having that success, and they want to know why they can't.
Right.
And so for each person, it is a different journey. And it's really discovering what their journey is and what healing they need to have to be able to move forward.
That's great.
Yeah, really good work.
Yeah.
So Angie, you have come back and you've gone back to the farm now, and that's your base, but you have an even bigger dream, like you build it and they will come, you know, like, so tell us about that part, because that's really exciting, especially as we move into like this post-pandemic world. People are yearning to be together. And so tell us about that exciting venture you got going on.
Oh my goodness. It just keeps getting bigger and better and bolder every week. So you're right. I came back to the farm, not expecting to stay here. So this was another divine moment where I started getting pretty comfortable. And then I really loved being around my sisters all the time. And, you know, one layer after another, it just continued to solidify that this is where I was meant to be. And truly coming full circle. You know, my office is the bedroom that I grew up in.
Wow.
And so you can't get any more full circle than that.
Wow, that's great.
So the family farm, my sisters and I, the three of us own this family property. We have 23 acres here, and it's really turning into a place for people to come and heal. There's incredible energy here. It is so relaxing. And over and over and over again, we continue to have people tell us, we don't want to leave. Like, it's so relaxing here.
Nice.
And even to go so far as to say, I've had a few clients tell me that this is their happy place. When they go into meditation, this is a place that they go into. And what a better compliment than to have this be someplace that people want to come to.
Yeah, and really honoring the history and the memory of your parents there.
Yes.
That's so
Where in Wisconsin are you?
So we're located about 25 minutes northeast of Madison.
Oh, great.
Which is our state capital.
Yeah. Well, we've been to Madison and we've been in Milwaukee. We love Wisconsin. So I think we're gonna check you out. We're gonna meet you one day.
Love to.
For sure. Come up to the farm and check it out. So
So
now you're starting to do retreats and things, and I'd love for people to find out more about you and the great things that you're building there and in your work. So how can people find you? What's your website address?
It's super easy. It's angieheiman.com.
Yes.
Yeah, and I do have the retreats listed there. Obviously, how they can work with me on one-on-one and in a group setting is also listed there.
Great. Well, thank you so much, Angie. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you, guys. Truly a pleasure for me as well.